Welcome again, everyone. Thanks to Lucas and Victor for the previous presentation. It was really nice. My name is Marko Permanto. I've been a programmer here at Tokaboka for almost 2 years, I think. Something like that. Been coding for about 10 years on and off. I'll mostly be demoing a game, not going that much into details about it. Maybe tell a bit about like how it came to be. But yeah, if there's like anything you want to ask, you can ask after the presentation. So I'm gonna talk about a game jam game called Dixieland Fitzpatrick, which was named due to an autocorrect typo, basically. It set the mood perfectly for the entire jam. So it was developed at a 24-hour game jam by me as a gameplay programmer. Jonas Kjellberg was also here as the musician, and you made the sound effects as well. And we also had Joachim Holmer, Mr. Shader Forge himself, working on the graphics. So therefore it looks awesome and sounds awesome. So do people here attend game jams generally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a pretty big one recently. Everyone should, basically, because you get like a really nice and different perspective on game development, which is kind of hard to explain unless you've experienced it. It just becomes so concentrated and focused and hectic because you have such limited time to make a game, basically. It's super fun and really rewarding in many ways. So we attended DreamHack's first hackathon called Dream Hackathon, because they're so clever. Which they've since held at least once more. I hope they continue because they did a pretty good job. We had a blast. So we wanted to create a music something game. We didn't really know what at first, which used Oculus, both because we had an awesome musician in our team and Oculus is cool. Joachim had fairly recently bought an Oculus but had not used it yet, so this felt like the perfect opportunity to, just play around with it, see what we can make. Initially this was going to be a very sort of slow-paced, moody experience where you fly across a desert. But once we sort of reached that, we felt that it was a bit too empty and not that interesting to look at. So, and we had judges to impress. So we sort of rushed the final look near the end and added enemies and shooting just an hour or two before the time was running out. Yeah, exactly. Mostly to just, have more stuff going on so that it would look interesting and crazy. Same sort of went with the music. Jonas had finished music and a couple of sound effects which fit the moody desert better. So I sort of, when we had a game that looked like this, I remember shouting at him like, make something like Days Hunter. Fortunately, he didn't listen and made something cool instead. The graphics were also made to match the beat of the songs so that the visual experience would be more impressive, amp the wow factor. And that's basically what I felt like I should say before I demo. So yeah, if there's any questions, just grab me after, or yeah, we'll have a questions round. It will look a bit weird. I mean, if you haven't seen an Oculus game, like do people, by the way, know what Oculus is? Is there anyone that doesn't? No, it doesn't seem like so. So yeah.
They're just quiet.
Sorry?
They're just sitting quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Embarrassing. No. So it's a VR game. You have this headset, and you're supposed to fly across a tunnel and avoid things. Is the goal. So it will look a bit weird on that screen because you will see two screens. Oops. You will see two screens instead of instead of just one like you see here, because it's made to look correct inside these, so you will have two screens, but hopefully you will still understand sort of what's going on.
Dixieland. 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 Dixieland.
It's worth mentioning you want to make Oculus games because it's nice to see your players look silly. Yeah, any questions you might have are good. Any technical ones or just anything? Yes?
Can we try the game with heavy metal?
Unfortunately, not now. Anyway, we are like.
DLC.
Yeah. I mean, it was made in 24 hours. Like we had to just mash our hands against the keyboard to get this to work, and we only matched it to the one song that Jonas made. But yeah, we're planning to continue working on it and have more songs and stuff and more levels and like variety in the levels so it actually like goes down and different scenery and stuff.
So the plan is to have like you can put any song on and
No, it's like, I mean, that's how most music games sort of work. That they sort of generate the level based on the music that you input.
Yeah.
But we're sort of more like planning to go on the designed experience route, so that everything in the level that happens has been like carefully designed and implemented so that it like works perfectly with that particular song. So yeah, we wanted to make something that's like not like most music games.
The auto generation thing is cool, but it ends up a bit gimmicky after a while. Like it's fun for the first couple of hours playing, but then it just seems.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope to have like even if it's not obvious in this version, we hope to in the future have like very varied experiences for each song, basically, so that it won't be like, I mean, even if Audio Surf is an awesome game, like the levels always look the same. It always sort of feels the same. So,
Actually, I'm a bit curious. So how did you decide? Like, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming you took time to decide like the perspective and the field of view in the game. How did you decide what kind of feeling to go with?
We didn't. We sort of, when you're that stressed sometime, you just, it's cool.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah. So yeah, we didn't spend that much time really thinking about it. I guess I mean, the idea of you being on a sort of stationary train which you can sort of lean out of was like the basis of the idea, because I mean the Oculus games which aren't that great as an experience are usually the ones where you also have control over your position in the world.
Yeah. I have a DK2 at home, that's why I asked.
Yeah. So yeah, we just used like I think it's mostly Joachim can correct me if I'm wrong on this, because he made most of the implementation of the Oculus stuff. We mostly used Unity's, I mean Oculus Unity plugin defaults. So yeah, it more or less worked out of the box, and then we just attached that view model to our train, which just goes forward.
Yeah, pretty much the thing we did was that we amplified the positional tracking, so that when you move your head just a little bit, it moves a lot instead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing.
That doesn't cause motion sickness, or does it?
No, because I mean you can imagine it just being that you get a different sense of scale, because that's also like a problem you have when making games on a short period of time, that you might not have, like you make some meshes and then there are that size and you just have to make it work. So the world is like way too big, like you're like this tiny dot in this massive space. So we had to make so that the movement was every like leaning movement was bigger than it like really is. But yeah, all it does is sort of make you feel bigger, so it works. Yeah.
Is the terrain just one big mesh that's textured, or is there some funky shader stuff going on there?
There's a lot of funky shader stuff.
Well, it's just a regular mesh. It's a hard edge.
Okay.
But yeah, the rest is pretty much shaders.
Okay, cool.
I think there's one texture just to have that width.
Yeah.
But the rest is shader stuff.
Looks good.
Yes?
How did you guys spend the 24 hours? Did you just like, oh, we're going to make an Oculus thing and just run for it? Or did you like plan, like, let's meet up in 3 hours and see what we got? Or?
We planned a bit, like, because we sort of, because there was a selection process of who got to enter the competition. So once all of us three were accepted, we started like talking about like what should we sort of make. So we planned the desert version, the one which didn't sort of make it, because it had like a bit too ambitious features which we couldn't like possibly finish. Like there was supposed to be a bird which you sat on and we would see its wings flapping on signs and stuff like that. And then once we were there, we sort of realized that, oh, we don't actually rig and do animations, none of us, I don't know.
Details.
Yeah, exactly.
What did
So,
the judges think of the game?
Sorry?
What did the judges think? Or what did they say about the game?
I don't remember their motivation, but we ended up winning the competition with this. So I guess they liked it a lot.
Oh God, please go home.
Or you win if you have an Oculus.
Yeah,
Could
you
be
know,
that also.
yeah, that is like, considering that the next time they held this same competition, the theme of the entire thing was VR. Guess
okay.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you put this demo up on itch or Oculus Share or something like that so we can try it at home?
Yes, we have been like discussing how to sort of do that. I think we were meaning to at one point, and then we had like this bug, like if you clicked with the mouse, it crashed, and we were like, why does that happen?
Put a disclaimer, don't click.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking like maybe we should just, who cares? So
Disable mouse clicks.
but yeah, we'll probably do that. Yeah.
And there's a website.
Yes, there's a website.
Do you remember?
No. No idea.
It's playdixie.land.
Yeah. But I don't think it's available for download.
No, not yet.
No.
But we'll probably put it up there.
Yeah, now we sort of have to.
Yeah.
All right, anyone else? Yes?
So when you're coding this, how do you switch between wearing the Oculus, testing the code, go back to writing the code, and then testing the code?
Joachim just sat. He just sat with it on his forehead like the entire time, and he was coding, and then just this playing and yeah.
Could you do it in 2D, regular 3D, without the Oculus, and then go, oh, this looks good, let's do it with the Oculus now, or should you always do it this time?
I mean, there's one like major. There are like a lot of points which are like important when making games for VR displays. There are a lot of like tricks which are usually used in game development which don't work there for various reasons. Sprites will, for example, not look correct. They will like you won't get the feeling of it having volume. Like you could have like it's a common thing to have for example explosion sprites for explosions, but when you wear the headset, they like actually look flat. Like, so you can't use sprites. Everything has to have a volume. Another thing which doesn't work is normal mapping. You have to have physically like actually modeled every detail for it to look correct in 3D, because you will when you wear this and you see the normal mapped surface, you will like it will like actually look flat, and like how can it get these shadows? Like it will just look like someone went there and painted like shadows on the wall. So there are a lot of things like that to sort of look out for when making Oculus games. But the most important one is probably scale, because once you have them on, if you're making a game which is supposed to have a somewhat realistic scale, take for example Half-Life 2, which has an Oculus implementation. If you play that, you will be like, holy shit, every room is massive, and this box that used to be like this thing that I hit with the crowbar is like this huge, and like I'm supposed to be able to carry this. This is like, oh my god. So yeah,
I can give advice for that because I ran into that like last week. If you're making that, make your actual desk you're working at in 3D first to get an idea of what the scale should be. It's the easiest way to do it.
Right. Do we have any more? Yes.
So what's the effect going with the floor? It's kind of shrinking.
I guess Joachim could maybe talk about it, because I have no idea.
Like details on how the floor works. Well, there's a bunch of things. Not sure how to explain them all, but the cracks and the waves are a result of just displacing along the normals based on sine waves and depending on the input of the music as well. And then there's also added flashes and rings based on the music. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. And it's not shaded, it just has this virtual light vector that I just push in with the color, and then I color it based on that vector. So pretty much it.
Now it's standing still basically because the music doesn't give any input to it. But when I start, yeah, first of all, the waves are based on position, I think, and then once the beat kicks on, you will get these flashes, and you will also get the lighter stuff sort of flashing to the beat.
Additional cracks in the front.
Yeah, and the cracks also become bigger. Yeah.
How do you press space on Oculus?
It's hidden yeah.
In your nose.
There's a hole next to the nose you can sort of look down through.
Yeah. Right. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't quite see how much of the actual beat sync and the animus and all that is actually how that is synced to the music. Does it just start after X seconds and then it just runs with the beat, or is it scripted so it's you could make it different passages in the music and have different.
Yeah, that's the plan in the future. Currently, it doesn't. It's like the version we have now is just hard coded based on a figure that I got from Jonas. Like after this much time, you should start doing the beat thing. So I just hard coded that in based on the sound buffer size, which you can get from Unity by using audio.tsp time or something, or time, I don't remember. But yeah, it's like really basic in that sense. I started working on trying to make stuff like so that you could sync like all kinds of different things to the music. So there's like this interface for reading beats at different intervals, but we ended up not using that much of it because time. Basically.
How did you plan on doing it? I mean, how would you author the?
We're actually planning on using MIDI reading inside Unity, so that we can have like specific tracks. When Jonas makes his music, he can dedicate certain tracks to be like game event stuff. So there would be, for example, like certain notes on a certain track will trigger like this light flashing on the floor, for example. So he just puts those in there, and then it will just read it and have that on beat. And we same thing with like if there's a big transition, like currently we are in the mountains, but at this point there's supposed to be like this drop that so that the player like feels like they're falling off a cliff. He can like script that into the MIDI file, and when he exports the whatever format it is, if it's OGG for the music, he can also like save those specific tracks so that we can read them in Unity. And it's like pretty close to working. I can read the MIDI file and I can like plot stuff out in the world. So it's like potentially working. I mean, I want to make a nice editor with the help of Joachim, of course, because he knows a lot about that stuff, so that you can like modify it inside Unity and save it back to a MIDI file so that he can get the changes from us, so that our level format in the end will be MIDI files, is the plan. But yeah, we'll see how it works. Was there someone else? Yes.
Yeah. I made an editor to export the MIDI information from Ableton with MaxMSP. So it basically just saves all the time codes for all the notes. I made a karaoke app for that. If you're interested, you can have that project. Maybe that's a solution that you might find interesting.
Well, the problem now is more the editor interface, so that you can like make the MIDI events like correspond to something specific in Unity. Currently, I just read it and do hard-coded things with it, but I want to make an editor. So the format is already working. Thank you. All right, maybe that's it. Thank you, everyone.